Hey everyone, Retrovival here, and considering we're getting near the end of the year, I've decided to narrow down my top 5 most anticipated games of 2025. Next year is going to be absolutely stacked with games from every corner of the industry. Narrowing down this list was pretty tough, but I think I've got a nice list of my own personal most anticipated titles coming out in 2025. We've got a great mix here too, with titles from Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox all being represented. So be sure to share your most anticipated games in the comments section below, because we're all going to have our own variations. So this one is the one I was most hesitant about putting on this list, primarily because of Pokemon's previous entry with Pokémon Scarlet and Violet. But Pokémon Legends Arceus is without a doubt one of my favourite entries in the series in recent years. It had its share of issues with performance and visuals, but the game played really well. It finally made you feel like you were watching the show with the wild Pokemon catching mechanic, being in danger from Pokemon yourself, and being able to move around the battlefield during a Pokemon battle. If Pokemon Legends ZA can manage to merge the gameplay style of the Legends series, while also incorporating traditional elements of Pokemon like gyms, online battles and more, it could turn out to be one of the best Pokemon games in years. Another thing I hope they do for performance sake is keep the segmented map from Pokemon Legends Arceus. Have proper handcrafted feeling regions with different environments, characters, Pokemon, gyms and landmarks. The pressure is on for Game Freak, so I really hope they deliver. So one game I am absolutely buzzing for since its announcement is Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra. And as if this being a Marvel game, set during World War II, starring Black Panther and Captain America while they have to learn to work together to stop a Hydra plot, wasn't enough to have me invested, this game is being worked on by the legendary Amy Hennig. And if you're not familiar with that name, you will definitely be familiar with her work. Amy has worked on a variety of games, as everything from a writer, director, producer, creative director, story concept creator, and design manager on games like the Legend of Kain series, Battlefield Hardline, Forspoken, which is the one where she did the concept for, and Jak and Daxter 3. But for me, what has me most excited is that Amy was the creative director and writer of Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, and I believe Golden Abyss. I might be wrong though. I absolutely love Uncharted, so the idea that we might have a Marvel game with the same story quality and sense of adventure as Uncharted is so exciting. So Nintendo has Pokemon Legends ZA next year, coming from the Pokemon Company and Game Freak, but Nintendo themselves, well, they have their own blockbuster coming out next year too, with the long-awaited release of Metroid Prime 4. This game was announced 7 years ago in 2017, and has gone through quite a lot of development issues, and even had a total change of developers, with the folks at Retro Studios who developed the original trilogy returning to take on the franchise one more time from the previous developers. They completely restarted development of the game in 2019 and have been hard at work on it since. We've seen Nintendo release Metroid Dread and the remaster of Prime 1 in the past few years, but I'm also really hoping we'll finally get to see Prime 2 and 3 get remasters before 4 comes out. Especially for people like me who never got to play the originals growing up. I loved playing through Prime 1 for the first time on Switch, so I'm super excited to see how this one turns out. So, Ghost of Yotei did not actually turn out as I expected it would, if I'm being honest. I was fully expecting us to return and take control of Jin Sakai on a new adventure, potentially as he ventures away from Tsushima. But that's not what happened. Instead, Sucker Punch are treating the concept of the ghost as a legend or mantle that is taken up by different people across the history of Japan, with our new female protagonist called Atsu taking the center stage. Ghost of Tsushima is probably my favourite title of the PS4 generation, so I was already excited enough for the possibility of a sequel, but this game looks absolutely insane. Atsu looks like she has her own completely unique set of weapons and items to use throughout her adventure, and while I'm genuinely sad we won't get to see the return of Jin Sakai, I'm sure Sucker Punch will make us love Atsu just as much. The visuals in the PS4 version of Ghost of Tsushima were stunning as it was, but the PS5 and PC versions just took it leaps beyond again. It was such an incredible start to a series, and I cannot wait to return to its world. So before I get to our last game, I really want to give some honourable mentions. So first off, we've got a new entry in the Yakuza / Like a Dragon series with Pirates in Hawaii, which looks like it literally is Yakuza Black Flag, with musical numbers, naval combat and all. You'll be taking control of the legend himself, Majima, as he conquers the seas in his return to the protagonist role. Doom the Dark Ages looks like it's going to be a ton of fun and it looks fantastic. South of Midnight looks like a really cool new IP from Xbox, and I'm really hoping Mafia the Old Country turns out well too. But, of course, I've got to mention it. It didn't make it on the list because it's too big. It's massive. You know I'm excited for this game. GTA 6. It is without a doubt the biggest title of next year and probably the year after by a large margin. This game is going to break every single record it can. It's going to be great. I cannot wait to see what Rockstar has done with it. And finally we're here, my most anticipated game of next year, and one I'm really anxious about, because I want it to turn out well. It's the return of Fable. Fable 2 is one of my favourite games of the 360 generation. It has been replayed time and time again by me over the years, and it never gets old. I love it so much, and I kept hoping they'd bring back that same level of enjoyment I got with Fable 3, and boy did they set expectations high for that game, but unfortunately it never landed for me, and I feel like it didn't land for a lot of people. With Lionhead long closed, the keys to the franchise has been handed over to Playground Games, the developers of the fantastic Forza Horizon series. Playground know how to make an impressive world, that's for certain, so I'm really hoping that they're going to be able to take those skills and apply it to the beautiful, adventurous, charming and funny world of Fable. The thoughts of finally taking a stroll through a next-gen version of Bowerstone is super exciting to think about. I'm still holding out hope, much like Prime 2 and 3, that we'll see Xbox finally release a remastered collection of these games, or even better, remake them. I would love remakes of these games. It'd be such a nostalgia trip. My expectations for this are so high, and it's not the fault of Playground, it's just been so bloody long since we've gotten to explore Albion. Honestly, I'm really rooting for Playground and Xbox. I don't play Xbox, so I'll be playing this on PC, but I'm still rooting for them because I love this world so much and I really want it to be fantastic. And there you go guys, remember to share your own top 5 most anticipated games of 2025 in the comment section below. Do we have any similar games, or are you set up for a completely different kind of adventure next year? I know there's a ton of people excited for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Obsidian's Avowed, Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, Hollow Knight 2 if it actually releases next year, and more. So without a doubt, let me know what you're thinking. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.